world currency.
The New World Order.
Those are the roots of trouble.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice, tumbling down the rabbit hole. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. But I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people.
And now, welcome to another episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. Here's your host from federaljack.com. It's Popeye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this live Sunday edition of DTRH. It is March 17th, 2013. And I want to address something right off the bat really quick because I'm sure the listeners are wondering where the hell I have been since last Monday. I've taken a 6-day, well, not really 6, probably about 4.5, 5-day now, but going on 6, I guess you could say, leave of the internet. Like I cut myself off of Facebook, except for a couple updates here and there, and talking with some of the listeners about the situation that I'm going through, which I'm going to get into in a minute. But and cutting myself off from Twitter, and I haven't updated federaljack.com, and I haven't done anything. I've been like a ghost the past 5-6 days, and everybody's, Popeye, what's wrong? What's going on? How come you have not been on air? I've gotten emails. Those of you on Facebook know what's going on. For those of you who don't follow me on Facebook or follow federaljack.com on Facebook, a close family member of mine, someone that's like a child to me, my service dog. She's 14 years old. She's a golden retriever, and her name is Lulu. And she was diagnosed this past Wednesday with inoperable liver cancer. And some people, many people get it. I don't think anybody, I've seen one comment where people haven't understood why I needed to take a few days off to deal with it and figure out how I was going to approach the situation. But for those of you out there that would say, well, it's just a dog, Popeye, move on. Well, she's not just a dog. She's a service dog. She's had over $25,000 worth of training throughout her life. And she's smarter than most humans I know. She knows how to open doors. The dog knows how to figure out problems and solve certain things on her own. I've seen her do it. She's a very fast learner, and she's one of the best friends anybody could ever have. So the past couple days, I've been trying to figure out how to deal with it. And, everybody, well, what about the cannabis oil? You're always saying cannabis oil and hemp, / hemp oil cures cancer and do this, do that. Well, I was trying to figure out how much it would take to actually fight it. And a human dose is what she would need. And if you were going to, without being able to grow it or having growers, use their leftover cuts and everything like that, or maybe even donate good bud material for it, without that, if you had to pay street value, it would cost probably about $5,000. to try to cure her. And because of her age, because she is 14, most Goldens don't live beyond 12 years old. The vet's already amazed that she's made it, to the age she's at, and that's because of how I feed her and the nutrients and stuff I give her. So I've been trying to figure out how to attack this. Hemp oil would be great, and I'm still trying to figure out if that's a possibility. And if there's any growers out there that want to send some hemp oil my way, if you've already made it, contact me. I would love to try to slow it down or even reverse the process with it. But I've also looked into a few other things. And thank you to the listeners, because if it weren't for the people on Facebook, the listeners out there, giving me advice and just talking to me and, just seeing the comments and stuff, I would randomly check in on it here and there. And not only was there a lot of love and stuff in there, but there was also a lot of good advice, which I looked into. And because of listeners like Josh over at Anti-Tyranny News or Linda Seiler and others, they pushed me to look up milk thistle, which I've looked into, and it helps detoxify the liver. It's even good for humans, obviously. But I'm looking into it specifically for her right now. I'm obviously going to look into this for myself and my wife and my other dog as well. But right now I'm trying to at least slow the progression. It's about 75-80% of her liver is consumed, and it's going into her spleen. So if I can try to reverse it, or at least slow it down, retard the process a little bit, that's what I'm trying right now. I'm just trying to buy her a little more time, pain-free existence for whatever time she's got left. So I also found out about turmeric or turmeric. I'm probably pronouncing it improperly, but it's also a known antioxidant and cancer-fighting qualities. So the past couple of days, I've been doing more research on how to at least, because I'm not rich. If I had the money, I would just go out and buy whatever I had to buy to make the hemp oil for her, and that would be it. But I don't have that access to funds. I don't make any money doing radio or anything like that. You all know, I'm not rich by any means. So that kind of is out of the question. I'm still working on other angles to see how I could maybe get some hemp oil, but I had to look into at least other things right off the bat to start to combat it. And I found that milk thistle and the turmeric are it's a start. And I read a ton of stories online and I don't want to say comments. I'm trying to think of the word. Testimonies from people that have taken turmeric. One woman says that she swears that it reversed her, the place that I got it. The guy was telling me, the lady comes in here, she had breast cancer, and she swears it because she took this, it went away, and she's been taking it for 15, 20 years. These are the same stories I heard over and over and over again. So I'm trying it. The dog likes it. She eats it right up. Of course, she eats anything I make her. I've been making her all homemade food and feeding her stuff twice a day. I had to figure out the dosage and everything. It takes a little bit of math. And ladies and gentlemen, I suck at math, and I was able to figure it out. So if you have an animal, you could figure this out too, or yourself. And it's not that hard. And we're trying that. So that's where I've been the past couple of days. I've been focusing. You all know how intensely I focus my energy and efforts on things when I investigate them and I uncover them or expose them, whatever the hell you want to call it is that I do. And I decided to take that and turn it to see if I could at least save my kid. Dog owners understand, but it's even with her, it's even a little bit more than that because, again, she's got a lot of human-like qualities, and being a service animal, she actually has the same rights that humans do. She travels all the same places. She goes into restaurants with us. She walks around with us. It's not just like a family pet that was at the house. She's very interactive with our lives. She's been to museums. So it's a little harder to deal with. And I think part of the hardest thing I was having a problem with was accepting that dog was sick, and I can't play superhero all the time and save her because there's been 2 other times where her life was in danger and we were able to pull her through it. So, I don't expect any miracle to occur, but if I can slow the progression down and, at least put up a fight and give her a fighting chance, I'm not one to quit or back down, never have been, and I refuse to stand idly by and just accept it. I mean, I know it's inevitable, but I would like to at least put up a fight instead of just standing idly by and letting it happen. So we're going to try the El Natural way, and I will let everybody know. I'll keep everybody updated as to her progress, and if it has any effect, I mean, obviously it can't have any ill effect on her. The only effect it could have is good. So I'll let everybody know how things are going. And again, if anybody out there is a grower or anything and you want to, if you want to snap your fingers and make hemp oil appear out of nowhere, feel free to contact me. Email me, contactdtrh@yahoo.com. Contact DTRH@yahoo.com. All right, when we get back, news and more. Don't go anywhere. And a t-shirt giveaway. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And it is Sunday, March 17th, 2013, and there is a plethora of retarded news that I need to go over with you all. Some of this stuff might, you might have heard it over the past few days, maybe from somebody else here or there. Some of it maybe not. But again, since I've been unplugged for a few days, I haven't gotten a chance to go over any of this. And over the course of time, I do pay attention to multiple things, and I would pick up something here or there, and I would make a little note about it. And earlier today, I was able to collect all my notes from the past couple days, put them all on one notepad. So I could cover these things for you. First thing I want to cover before I get off on some of the news of the day and the idiocy, and we're going to get into a free T-shirt giveaway, by the way, today, ladies and gentlemen. What I want everybody to do who's out there listening live right now, I'll do it the second hour. We don't have the Orion call system up and running at the moment, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the chat room to do a T-shirt giveaway. So if you want to be able to have a chance at getting a free federaljack.com T-shirt, I'm going to be giving out 2 of them, one black, one OD green, both sizes large because I'm limited on what sizes I have left. That's why I'm doing the T-shirt giveaway here. But if you could fit into a large or know somebody that could fit into a large, and they're not crappy T-shirts, they're the Hanes beefy tees, the cotton shirts. So they're good quality. They don't shrink down too much. They're already pre-shrunk cotton, so they're not garbage T-shirts. But if anybody wants a large federaljack.com T-shirt, it's got the federaljack.com logos on the front and the back. The Uncle Sam the evil Uncle Sam that is on the front, we call him Uncle Jack, with the 2 puppets and the Illuminati hat. Or the hat, and it says New World Order, and it's got the Illuminati all-seeing eye and stuff. If you've ever been to my Twitter account or Facebook pages, you've seen the photos. I've posted them before. They're on our business cards and our flyers. They've been around for years, so anybody that's ever seen them knows what I'm talking about. And yes, I have T-shirts. So later today, I'm going to be giving away T-shirts, and I'm going to use the chat room. So I want everybody who wants a free T-shirt, go to the chat room. You can go over to OrionTalkRadio.com and go to the chat section and look up Down the Rabbit Hole there and go to the chat room, or you can go to my Listen Live page I have on federaljack.com, which is my website. If you're not sure about that, go over to federaljack.com. Right in the upper right-hand corner, there is a widget to take you to the Listen Live and chat page, and you can listen live to the show there. There's multiple ways, the player, different streams, and the chat room is there too. And I will be giving away 2 T-shirts. Now, I'll be getting into details more in a little while, so stay tuned. But up for grabs today, 2 large federaljack.com T-shirts, full color front and back, one OD green and the other one black. So stay tuned for that. Okay, I want to get into PTSD. Dun, 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 dun. And I want to talk about this a little bit because you hear a lot of focus on mental health nowadays, especially after the shooting in Newtown. And you hear, oh my God, mentally ill people shouldn't be able to get firearms so easily and blah, 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 blah. Well, I agree. I wouldn't want some completely mentally disturbed person who maybe, at the time shouldn't have access to firearms having an access to a firearm. I completely understand that. There are it's a case-by-case basis. There are certain people that maybe, shouldn't have access to a firearm for a brief period of time only because of their mental state. But see, the problem is that's not what these people want to do. Okay, they define everyday human behavior, such as being pissed off that the government is sticking it up your rear end. Well, they define that as oppositional defiant disorder. Well, that's a mental disorder. You can't have a gun. See how slippery of a slope we can go? Now, I bring up the PTSD part for veterans because I want to explain really quick. I want to read you a little blurb that shows you how little these doctors really actually know about what they're talking about. But they go out there and they act like we know and they have to take guns. I mean, Dianne Feinstein thinks PTSD is a relatively new thing, even though I've gone over that and I've showed how that goes. The even awareness of the post-traumatic stress, I don't want to call it disorder, but the awareness of the idea that happens and that people do experience post-traumatic stress, that the idea that it's even there or the awareness of it goes back to ancient Greece. So it's not a predominantly Iraq war thing. And I already took Dianne Feinstein to the woodshed last week on that. But I want to read you this little blurb because they act like they know. Feinstein, acts like she knows about PTSD and vets shouldn't have access to guns because it's dangerous and they're going to kill people. And look at, oh my God, they're going to mass shootings and oh my God, crazy people, scary, 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 fear, 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 fear. And they're going off of the basis of what these doctors tell them. And these doctors don't know their asses from a hole in the ground. Okay? I'll put it bluntly. They don't. Here, I'm going to read you just a little snippet, little quote really quick. Quote, "The symptoms can range from mildly disturbing to wholly incapacitating," end quote, said Dr. Jeffrey Lieberman, chair of psychiatry at Columbia University Medical Center in New York City and president-elect of the American Psychiatric Association, describing the nightmares and flashbacks that can haunt soldiers long after their return to civilian life. Quote, "And we're still limited in our understanding of why it occurs, what it consists of, and the best approaches to treatment," end quote. I'll read that again, one more time. Again, Dr. Jeffrey Lieberman, chair of psychiatry at Columbia University Medical Center in New York City and president-elect of the American Psychiatric Association. Quote, "And we're still limited in our understanding of why it occurs, what it consists of, and the best approaches to treatment," end quote. So rather than actually trying to focus on maybe finding out more about the problem and discovering more about this and researching it and understanding the problem, nope, they have to already take away your rights and scare the crap out of you and freak you out. That scary Iraq or Afghanistan soldier, ooh, look, they killed people, they did war crimes. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, I've talked about this before when I've exposed the war crimes and the bad stuff that goes on, and I've said how when you embrace the dark side, blah, 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 I've gone into it. Remember all that? Anybody that's listened to my older broadcasts knows what I'm talking about. If you're new, go back to my archive section on federaljack.com and listen to the older broadcasts. You'll see what I'm talking about, especially the ones with like PFC John Needham or Veterans Affairs and stuff like that. Okay? Yes, there are soldiers and Marines and airmen and sailors and guardsmen that do dumb stuff and they commit war crimes. Okay? That doesn't mean that every person with post-traumatic stress is going to do that and go off their rocker and go postal and kill people. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? PTS, and because I don't like to call it a disorder, so I call it PTS. PTS, post-traumatic stress, can occur from anything that you yourself, each individual, on an individual basis. It's not an umbrella thing. Everybody in this culture nowadays, society wants to use umbrella labels for everything because, it fits. It's a one-size-fits-all policy. But it never really does fit, does it? Okay? No, it doesn't. You could have PTS from being in a car accident. Just being in a single car accident by yourself hitting a tree could give you PTS. Watching your friend or loved one have a heart attack and drop dead in front of you can cause you PTS. Anything that can be construed as traumatic to the individual it's affecting can cause PTS. That's why they call it post-traumatic stress. You went through a traumatic event and it caused stress in your life and it left its mark on you, and your body and brain are dealing with it accordingly. By the way, this is all natural. Anybody out there that experiences stuff, these things and these feelings, and they tell you, oh, well, you're a head case, you need all these meds. No. A lot of this stuff is normal. Medical cannabis. I'm telling you, cannabis Gets rid of all the big pharma crap. Big pharma meds don't do nothing but make the problems worse and the symptoms worse. And they give you night sweats and all this other stuff. I know all about it. Trust me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a natural thing. Stop with the labels. PTS. No more PTSD. It's not a disorder. And we can get through it. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So going into break, I was talking about PTS, and I said that you can get through this. And I just want to focus on this for a few more minutes, and then we're going to go on. But it's important that people hear this. If you're a vet out there and you're experiencing these feelings, you watched your friends get shot, you watched things get blown up, you were in life-threatening situations, and you feel these weird feelings, and people are telling you, oh my God, you have issues, it's okay, you just need to be fixed, you're broken, you just need these medications, and you'll be okay. You're not broken. You're not broken at all. You're dealing with something that is horrific. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, PTS is a normal human response to a very abnormal situation. And how abnormal the situation is perceived depends on the person. I know guys that have seen people get shot and blown up, and they're not affected by it at all. Not at all. At all. They don't lose an ounce of sleep over it, ever. Never have, never did, never will. Not everybody's like that. Those guys are few and far between. I've seen the other end of the spectrum, too, where people are a blubbering mess. Everybody handles things differently. So if someone says to you, oh my God, you have PTS, oh my God, you're crazy, blah, 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 blah. Because, I mean, they want to take your guns. That's all this. That's what you hear from the media. That's what you hear from these politicians. Oh, my God, we're scared of people. We're scared of... You know why they're scared? Because they don't understand it. You heard the doctor there. You heard the quote I read from him. They barely understand it. And these are the people that the politicians look to for their guidance on this stuff. So it's the blind leading the blind. And the whole time they're telling you, the person who's actually, I guess, the victim of this, you could say, or whatever, the patient, the individual being mostly affected by it, they're treating you as a leper. They pump you up on all these meds. Then they have all this fear of you. And is this the way to treat something, ladies and gentlemen? No. This is not the way to deal with anything. Based on fear. That's how we deal with everything. Politicians make laws because they don't know how to solve problems, and they're afraid of things, and the only way that they can deal with an issue is to make a law banning it or prohibiting it or requiring a license or whatever they do, however they word it. That's the only way they ever come up with a solution is, well, make a law banning it or this or that or regulating it or rah, 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 rah. That doesn't really solve anything, and all that is based on fear and ignorance because they don't understand. They're afraid of it. They're pumped up. They're told, oh, my God, be afraid. They tell their constituents, oh, my God, be afraid. And a lot of that ignorance and fear, some of that is manifested because there are people that push it and need that because you need to control it. But a lot of that is also out of ignorance. People help push this fear out of their own ignorance. The doctors, they're not really quite sure, but we think our best guess, based on our experience. I've been a doctor for 60 years. I've got a ton of experience. Well, 60 years ago, we also didn't have a lot of the technology that we have today, Doc. Things have changed a little bit. So maybe, just maybe, we could start to look at this a little different. Oh, no. We really don't understand how things work, but instead of actually saying we don't understand yet, this needs further study and admitting that out loud. Oh, no. We'll tell you that PTS sufferers are crazy and that, yes, you should have your guns taken away because they're a menace to society and gun violence is such a horrible problem. You're not even dealing with the issue. You're off on a side tangent 15 steps away. Well, but guns, Popeye. But that's your political agenda, and you're using this PTS as a way to push your political agenda. Ultimate scumbaggery, if I've ever seen it. It's scumbaggery at its finest. Feinstein, you don't know what you're talking about, lady. You don't even know what PTS is. You think, according to her, PTSD, the dreaded D on the end of it, PTSD goes back to the Iraq War. No, it doesn't. You don't know anything. You should not be making laws. This is why term limits, and people go, well, I don't agree in term limits. I think term limits should be when people vote them out. No, because that doesn't work, because they rig the election. So obviously either you change it so there's term limits, and maybe that would help clean it up a little bit. And if that didn't, then you maybe have to take the whole system down and start over, or fire everybody and make it illegal for all these different groups to come in and give them money. And oh my God, I could get off on a side rant on that. The point is, these people making the laws have no idea what they're talking about. Okay, and if they tell you, or some person of authority tells you, if you're a vet or if you've been in a traumatic situation, and they're hammering on you, you have PTSD, oh my God, it's abnormal, blah. You're not abnormal. It's a completely normal response to a completely abnormal situation based on the individual and their level of what they consider to be abnormal. Okay, again, it's not a blanket, one size fits all policy. It is a individual case by case basis, and people need to stop being afraid of veterans or anybody that has a mental disorder. Whoa, they're going to come bite you. Whoa. No, they're not. I've gone up to the level 5 where the PTSD wing is in the hospital at the Miami VA a few times, and just gone and chatted with the guys up there and talked to them. Just sat down with them and treated them like they were my equals. It's amazing what happens when you treat someone as if they're your equal, and that they've just had a traumatic situation, and that, man, you are lucky to have survived that. That's awesome that you've made it through. But no, instead you treat that individual as, oh my God, you're broken. You need to be put in a cage and locked up and pumped up all these meds. That's not how you solve a problem. And ladies and gentlemen, the public, the general mass public that aren't in the military and maybe don't understand what goes on, when vets come home and they suffer PTS, again, you suffer the same thing if you get in a car accident, or if you experience a death in your family could cause it. You losing a pet could cause it. It's all based on the individual. So stop being afraid of these guys and women when they come home, and maybe embrace them a little more, show them a little more love and understanding. And you know what? They just want to be treated like everybody else. That's it. Do you want to be singled out when you go out somewhere and be like, oh my God, you're so great, but you're broken. I love you, but let me give you meds. Oh my God. Yay. USA, USA, USA. Love the troops, love the troops. Would you like that if you went out somewhere? Would you like that everywhere you went? I know I don't. Now, I have military tattoos on me. Sometimes I cover them when I go out in public, purposely, or I'll put my hands in my pockets and stuff and pull my sleeves down on my arms, because I don't want people to see them. Because I'm tired of people coming up and giving me the fake thank you for your service. No, if you thanked me, you wouldn't let them send kids over to foreign lands and die anymore. Okay? You wouldn't. So don't give me that false patriotism crap. If you really support the troops when they come home, show them love and understanding. Don't buy into, oh my God, white Al-Qaeda, they hate America, and they've become, it's like Vietnam War all over again. Oh no, they're gonna come and get us. We need a police state. They're gonna start shooting kids at colleges again? They're gonna sick the National Guard out and have them unload on people again? People need to research history and see what's happened in the past. And stop buying into the fear. I can't focus on that enough. The people that are telling you to be afraid of everybody, oh my God, people with mental disorders, be afraid of them. No, these people need our help. Like my mother used to tell me. She used to tell me when I was a kid, you should never pick on somebody that's got a disability like that or anything like that, or that's gone through a traumatic experience, because they need help from other people. And they shouldn't be ridiculed, and it's just heartless. And I could go off on a 15-minute diatribe about it, but my mother instilled that in me, and I still believe in that to this day. There's no reason to be afraid of them. Yes, you know what? You're right. There are some vets that do need a lot of help and that do snap. But how about understanding why they snap instead of trying to just pat their little heads and say, it's okay, and pump them up on pills? Maybe if we didn't have BS wars, hundreds of thousands, millions of people getting killed for nothing, these kids seeing all this and realizing this and then realizing they're stuck in a contract and that they can't get out. And, that has nothing to do with it, right? Not at all. That's not a cause, right? See, we deal with the symptom, not the cause of the problem. Let's deal with the cause. And then the symptoms will go away. All right, we're going to break. When we get back, got a bunch of other news I want to get into. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Man, first hour already went by fast. Final segment of the first hour. Second hour, remember, I'm giving away 2 federaljack.com t-shirts today. Since we don't have the phone lines up, we're going to use the chat. And we're doing this because I'm getting everybody primed because this Wednesday, Sherry Feaster, you all heard her a couple weeks ago. She's a forensic investigator. She wrote a book from a forensic investigator's point of view on the John F. Kennedy assassination. Well, I'm having her back on to go over a few other things and some stuff that I've been talking with her about in between the last show, the last time she was on a couple weeks ago, and when she's going to be on again this Wednesday, the 20th. And a lot of it involves the headshot. You're going to hear, I'm going to go over the conversation I had with her. I'm going to play a little bit of audio for you all, and we're going to conversate about where at least I and Sherry think that the shots originated from. I have a pretty good idea of. I've narrowed down. It doesn't mean I'm 100% right, but from what I can see, and Sherry agrees with me, I think we've got it nailed down, at least where the shooters were. Anyway, we're going to be giving away a couple copies of her book live Wednesday night. So I'm trying to prime everybody here, and I want to give away a couple of the T-shirts that I've got. So make sure you tune in second hour today because I'm giving away, again, 2 T-shirts, federaljack.com T-shirts. They're full color, front, back. One's going to be olive drab. The other one's going to be black. I only have larges right now. I got to look through and see what other sizes I might have. I got to dig out some of I have one other box that I have a few left in, but I have larges right now. So if you know anybody or you yourself could fit into a large federaljack.com T-shirt, or you know someone that would like one, go over to federaljack.com. Go over to the upper right-hand corner. You're going to see the Listen Live and chat page widget up there. It's green. It's like a rabbit hole going into a checkered floor, and it's all green. It's a green and black checkers going in. Can't miss it. It's just Down the Rabbit Hole with Popeye. Click on that. It'll bring you to the Listen Live page, and you can listen to the broadcast there and be interactive with the chat. In hour number 2, I will be picking 2 people from the chat for as winners for the T-shirts. And I have a little bit more details to come, which I'll give you guys during the second hour, because I'm going to do it probably around the bottom of the hour. When we come back in from the bottom of the hour break, I'll do it. And during sometime during the final 2 segments. But make sure you tune in Wednesday the 20th, because Sherry's going to be back on, as I said, and we're going to be giving away a couple copies of her book, Enemy of the Truth. So make sure you come on and you listen to the broadcast, because it's going to be an epic broadcast, what we're going over. And we're going to give away a couple copies of her book. And again, we're going to be doing it via the chat room because of the call board situation right now. So we can't, I would rather prefer to do it via calls, but it's a bit of a pain in the butt. So it'd be easier right now just to do it via the chat room. So I'm trying to get everybody primed so they for Wednesday night they're ready, because I want everybody to have a chance at getting a free copy of Sherry's book. And if you don't win one of the copies of the book on Wednesday night, just go purchase a copy of the book. I mean, it's really a good book. The evidence in there alone, and the description and the going, I'm sure everybody likes CSI. Tons of people love that show. Oh, I love Gil Grissom. I love, Catherine Willows. Well, she's like Catherine Willows. It's like having Catherine Willows in studio to talk about the John F. Kennedy assassination. So go if you don't win the book, if you listen on Wednesday and no one wins the book, go purchase a copy of the book. I recommend it. I have a copy myself. Great book. All right. So final few minutes here in the last segment. I want to go over soda and how it affects your health. A few different ways that soda affects your health. And then hour number 2, we're going to be getting into some other news stuff. And again, the T-shirt giveaway. So, 8 ways soda fizzles your health. And you can check it out. There's a blog. It's called Water for Life USA. And obviously, it's a website. Some of this, there's some sort of, they sell like purified clean water or whatever. And people could say, oh, well, some of this research has to be skewered or whatever. No, it's not. I've researched it myself, but I use this page because this is one spot that I've used for reference before to go, research some of the things to the claims and then go see if it's true or not, and they are. So, and it's all condensed in one spot, so it's easier for me in the last few minutes here. But you can go check it out, waterforlifeusa.com, and then just look up or just Google 8-way or whatever, start page, whatever. I don't like giving Google free advertising. Just look up 8 ways soda fizzles your health. I'm sure it'll pop up on a couple different blogs, and I'll have it up on Federal Jack within a couple days. But first one is pH of soda is equal to that of the pH level of vinegar. For one, soda, no matter who takes it, is the most acidic beverage you can buy, with a pH of about 2.5, about the same as vinegar. Why does that matter? Acid oxidizes whatever it comes in contact with. If you put soda or vinegar on metal, it'll rust quickly. So just can you imagine what it does to your insides? And besides, a high level of acidity like that constantly in your body is not good. Some people say, "Oh, high level of acidity is good for, fighting cancer," and I don't know if that's true. I've seen both sides of the argument. I mean, I know vitamin C can help, and I know acidic vitamin C, blah 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 blah. But I don't think having a pH level super high pH levels like that are good for the human body. So I could be wrong, but I don't think super high pH levels like that are good. That's just one reason why soda's bad. And remember, the acidity of soda also is why it causes cavities and other things. If you drink soda, which also contains high levels of phosphorus, you will leach calcium from your bones, which is true. That's why they say if you drink like Coca-Cola, it has phosphoric acid in it. It eats away your bone structure. In fact, Judith Baker's talked about this. She said if you drink Coca-Cola, that you should take a calcium pill with it. So at least you're replacing some of the calcium that the soda actually eats away from your bones. So when you're drinking that Coca-Cola and you, I love Coca-Cola. I love the Coca-Cola from Mexico I can get at different stores around the United States. I love it so much. It's got real sugar, not corn syrup, so it's healthy. Yeah, never mind the rest of the crap in your body, okay? Never mind the fact that you have pH levels high enough to eat the enamel off of your teeth. And then on top of that, you throw phosphoric acid in there, which doesn't help, again, with the whole pH level and the acidity. And then you've got all the caramel coloring and all the other garbage that's in there. That stuff's never good for you at all. Literally will dissolve your tooth enamel. I've talked about this with Dr. Jason Pujo. He was on as a guest. In fact, I got to have Jason back on soon. I got to get in touch with him and have him back on because he's just a great guest. Awesome dentist. And if you guys haven't heard that interview, you're going to need to check it out. I mean, he'll tell you. Soda's no good, and he tells you about regular toothpaste and everything. He's not one of these dentists that tries to push fluoride and everything. He's a breath of fresh air when it comes to dentists, but he'll even agree that it'll eat the enamel right off your teeth. Look, you know how I knew Coca-Cola was bad when I was a kid? And I was probably only about 11 years old when I found this out. We used to go out on mischief night all the time, the night before Halloween every year. We used to go out toilet paper, egg people. We used to egg the cops. We were little dicks. And one of my friends told me that if you take Coca-Cola and you pour it on someone's car, it'll eat through, and overnight, you leave it on the hood or whatever, by the time they come out in the morning and they see it, it'll have eaten through the clear coat. And I didn't believe it. I thought they were full of crap. So there was a person who they had hit our house on mischief night, and a couple of nights later, we wanted to get revenge. You know how kids are. You want to get revenge on them. So we poured soda all over the guy's hood of his car, okay? All over it. And we did it. It was around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. We knew the guy had to get up early the next day for, for practice and everything. He was a jock, and we knew he had to get up the next day for practice or whatever. Long story short, we covered the hood of the car with the Coke, okay? By the time he had found it the next day, the phosphoric acid and all the other garbage in there had literally eaten through the clear coat and literally started to pull the paint up. I'm not kidding. You can polish chrome with soda. I've seen people take rags dipped in Coca-Cola and rub it on chrome and polish it up. I mean, I don't know how if it's as good as using Mother's polish, but hey, it works. I've seen people clean with it. I've seen people clean pennies and stuff with it. You can throw. I think there's even videos. You could throw like a copper penny inside of a thing of Coca-Cola, and I think like a one that's covered in the green oxidation stuff, and it'll start to at least eat that crap off of there. How do you drink that? Ladies and gentlemen, soda is no good for you. Stop drinking that crap. Drink water. I don't care where you get it from. I don't care if you get a Berkey filter. I don't care if you get one of these other filters. The ones Orion actually has one of the sponsors there. You can go to the front page of OrionTalkRadio.com. They have a thing for water filters there. And I don't remember the name of the company off the top of my head, but I know people that have those filters. Those things are amazing. Get one of these water filters. Get a Life straw. Keep it in your back pocket. That's something good to have. But get these filters. Clean your water out. Stop drinking this crap. I guarantee you these elitist douches aren't drinking Coca-Cola and Mountain Dew. Look up Mountain Dew dissolves rat. Look up that during the break. I'm not kidding. Look up Mountain Dew dissolves rat. Or woman finds half dissolved rat in Mountain Dew. Just look that up during the break. All right, we're going to break. Hour number 1 up, hour 2 coming up. Don't go anywhere. Remember, T-shirt giveaway coming up. Spread the word. We'll be right back.
Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. When you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game in inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's going to make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's going to win that inch. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. There's 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You got to look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're going to see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're going to see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're going to do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals. Ideas are bulletproof.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Ideas are bulletproof. We are back for hour number 2 here on today's live Sunday edition of Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Popeye, from federaljack.com. And I still have a ton of things that I want to go over here in hour number 2. And don't forget, after the bottom of the hour break, coming up in less than, 20 minutes? Little more than 20 minutes, like 23 minutes, 24 minutes. I'm going to be giving away 2 federaljack.com t-shirts. So go over to oriontalkradio.com, go over to the chat section, look up Down the Rabbit Hole with Popeye, click on it. Or go over to federaljack.com, go up to the upper right-hand corner, go to the Listen Live and Chat page, and you can enter the chat room there. And stay there because I'm going to be picking 2 people from the chat for the t-shirts. Again, they're only larges, so if you don't want it, if you don't want the free t-shirt, whatever, right now, that's fine. But if you know someone that might want it, or you want one for yourself, head over to the chat room, and I'll be giving them away. Okay, I have to talk about this. This is something I have to bring up. This is only a couple days old, and I think everybody will get a kick out of this. During a active shooter situation, as they would call it, a SWAT team in upstate New York had a picture taken of them, and, well, it just goes to show that these guys don't know their butts from a hole in the ground, we'll say. Trying to be nice, because I know I have a younger audience tuned in right now. And there's a picture over on the Daily Mail. I'll drop the link in the chat. You have to see the picture. Anybody that's ever fired a weapon will look at this and go, right off the bat, you'll see what's wrong. But the guy's got a quote-unquote assault rifle, one of these deadly assault rifles. Looks like an AR-15, like a Colt model. And he's got a EOTech holographic sight on it, and he's got it on backwards, which makes the sight effectively useless. It's like having a huge paperweight, and actually it gets in your way because then it blocks. If he had it on the right way, it would actually, even if he was using his pop-up sights, he'd be able to still, if it was set correctly, he'd be able to look right through the thing into his front sight, but he can't. It's useless the way he's got it on backwards, so it effectively does nothing. And they're in a live fire situation with like a quote-unquote active shooter. This was a real thing. This wasn't a training situation, and somebody took a picture of them. And I don't know if the person taking the picture noticed it, but when it went on the internet, it was certainly noticed that the guy's got the sight on backwards, which goes to show you he's never, ever sighted in that weapon with that sight. He threw the sight on his weapon, and he's never even zeroed it in. Never sighted in his rifle with the new scope up on top there. Never. I mean, it's a holographic sight. So you put it on, and when you look through it, it's got a little, it's like reddish orange reticle. Now, he could easily take 5 minutes if he put it on backwards. When he went to go sight it in, he went, oh, I put it on backwards. Popped it off, put it on the right way. Wow, I'm glad nobody saw that. I would have looked like a dickhead. And then sight in his weapon. Wow, I know it's zeroed in, good to go. Now I'm going to go out, and if I'm in an active shooter situation, I know I can depend on my rifle to cover my ass. I mean, that's the way you're basically in a nutshell. Okay? Takes 20 minutes. For those of you that know what you're doing. For those of you that don't know what you're doing, like, Dudley Do-Right over here, apparently it might take a little longer. So he slapped his cool $500 EOTech holographic sight on the top of my AR-15. My Colt AR-15. Look, I've got a Picatinny rail, quad rail system on it. I've got a flashlight and a hand grip. I'm so cool. And I have a cool vest and gloves. I'm a police officer. Well, obviously, you're a bad one because you don't even know how to put your sight on properly. Just amazing. So I'm going to drop the link in there. It's a quick little example of how these guys that are running around screaming, "Oh my God, only police and military should have firearms because they're the only ones competent enough with enough training that we can trust that won't go crazy and that they're highly trained professionals, Popeye. They would never do anything wrong, like randomly shoot people in L.A. because they're frightened and then try to offer the people they shot a free pickup truck in return for them to shut up." Fail, that didn't work, did it, LAPD? I mean, come on. This is just absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, the police should be the only ones to have weapons. They're the ones with competent training. Really? They don't even know they're putting on their sight backwards. It makes that sight and his rifle with the sight on it useless. It's in his way. You can't even shoot with it. And that means this guy's never taken that weapon down to a range with that sight on it and sat there and fired off at a couple targets to at least see if you could even hit with it. Let me get this straight. You trust your life to a weapon that you've never even taken to the range and fired. Ever. Ever. Never tried to zero it in, make sure the sights are okay. Nothing. And you're in an active shooter situation, not a drill. And you're telling me that I'm supposed to give up my weapons to this guy? No. Guy can't even put his sight on correctly. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not that hard to do. Unscrew it, take it off the rail, spin it around, put it on, and tighten it back down. It would have taken him 5 minutes. But what he did was he probably got the gun, bought the sight, put the sight on it, thought he had it on the right way, held it up, looked at it, went, yeah, that looks good, put it back in his bag, put it in his trunk, and off he went. Just serves as an example, ladies and gentlemen. That's all. All right, we're going to break. We'll be right back in a few minutes. Coming up, T-shirt giveaway. Don't go anywhere. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, this from the Atlantic Wire, and I'll post a portion of this up on federaljack.com and link it back to the original article over on the Atlantic Wire, but I'll read right from their article right now. Hackers attack bank minutes after NSA chief warns Senate about hackers attacking banks. This is from the 12th. Really? I mean, like, does anybody believe in coincidences that close together? But, of course, I'm sure they'll blame it on some hackers that were pissed off or the Chinese or something. Let's see. I haven't read the article, so let's see, because I'd like to tear this apart. Remember, part of the stuff I go over for the newer listeners that might not know about this is I talk a lot about the false flag hack attacks that go on. I've had hackers on before. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, go over to hackmiami.org and you will see or maybe it's, let me double check if it's hackmiami.org or .com. But if you look up Hack Miami, you will see that in May they're having a conference, actually hacking conference here in Miami. And I'm going to be heading up a panel on false flag hack attacks. And I'm actually going to get a chance to sit down and talk to a couple hackers and, just have them field questions and go back and forth over what's going on and, trying to expose as much information as to the reality of the situation to the general public and to other hackers that might not be aware. Because, look, we need these people that everybody likes to call internet geeks and nerds and all this other stuff, and they make fun of hackers. They try to label them as terrorists or this or that or everything. Most people that do hacking are everyday individuals. I have a lot of friends that are hackers, and they're the most normal people I know. Some of them are the most abnormal people I know, but that's also what makes them good hackers and fun to be around. But these people are what's going to save the internet, not me. Me verbalizing what's going on and getting the information out will help, but I alone can't do it. Joe Joseph can't do it by himself. The owner over here at Orion, Jimmy, can't do it. Shepard Ambellis can't do it over with the IntelliHub by himself. Everybody has to kind of, we have to get the information, work together to get the information out, but then we need the hackers out there that maybe are not awake to wake up and see what's going on and step up to the plate, because it's Without you guys, we're screwed, basically. We need you to keep the internet free and then actually build something that these scumbags can't take over and use against us. HackMiami.com is for the conference, and HackMiami.org if you want to join up for, they have a monthly, or maybe it's in more than once a month, but I know they do meetings and stuff. So if you want to go check out HackMiami.org, if you want to join the organization and you're in South Florida area or whatever, go check them out. And then for the conference itself, it's going to be in May, and I don't remember the exact dates, but you can just go check the website out. It's hackmiami.com, hackmiami.com, and all the information on the hacking conference is there. But it's cool. I was asked by Hack Miami. They're a bunch of good guys, and they asked me if I'd like to come down and they see my videos, and I've interviewed a few of them on the broadcast before. And they asked if I'd like to come down and, kind of head up this panel discussion. So I'm excited about that, and I'll have audio and everything for everyone from that, later on, and I'll air it. And as it comes closer to the event, I will actually give more information out about it. So I want to get back to this article. So anyway, General Keith Alexander, director of the National Security Agency, which is one of the biggest problems this country has, but that's a separate broadcast, and don't worry, the NSA is in my sights. I'm going to be doing an expose on them just like I have on other agencies and stuff. In fact, I might even drag my good buddy Joe Joseph into that broadcast, because Joe knows a lot about this stuff too, especially being a veteran. And he's done a lot of research into a lot of these organizations and stuff as well, and him and I have had plenty of conversations off air, but I don't want to digress too much. Anyway, the director of the National Security Agency, General Keith Alexander, took the stand in front of the Senate Armed Services Committee on Tuesday, and an ambitious expansion of the Pentagon Cyber Command. He wants basically they want to bolster up. I mean, they already do a lot of crap behind the scenes with the Pentagon and false flag hacking, and then all this, the programs that we've talked about where they have paid. There's one person that goes on, an Air Force person that goes on, and there are 10 different people online, and all these, multiple people doing this in the Army and the Air Force. Lord knows the government sector itself, away from the military, probably has the same capability. But now they're actually not only admitting that this is where the new fight is. We're not focusing on terrorism. We're focusing on cyber war and internet hacking. So hackers are going to become the new bin Laden, which is what Winston Smith has said. And, going back over a year ago, I've had Winston on multiple times, and he said, you got to be careful of the quote unquote bin Laden of the internet. That's what they're going to roll out next. We've talked about this. Anyway, we've seen the attacks on Wall Street over the last 6 months grow significantly, he told the senators, explaining that denial of service attacks, the DDoS attacks, are the most common assault on banks' websites. And if you look at industry, this is him, quote, if you look at industry, especially the antivirus community and others, they believe it's going to grow more in 2013. And there's a lot that we need to do to prepare for this, end quote. So he's saying that, it's going to get bigger and bigger, and we need more money to build up more cyber command because it's going to, oh my God, the hackers and more DDoS attacks. Ladies and gentlemen, a DDoS attack, which Winston has talked about probably 8-9 months ago, if not more. I asked him, I said, dude, explain exactly what a DDoS attack is to the people so that they don't get all jammed up. And he explained it's nothing more than a virtual sit-in. It's your website. It's basically so many. The computer. They have programs that'll do this. It'll mimic a bazillion people trying to access your website at once. And this is a simplified version of it for the I know the hackers are probably going, well, Popeye, there's a little more technical stuff to it, but I know I'm just trying to simplify it for the people that might not get it. It basically just if they use a program, it's like a million people trying to get on at once. Jams your website up, people can't get on, and until the DDoS attack is done, people really can't get access to your site. You won't be able to get access to your site. It's frustrating. It's more of a virtual sit-in, just pisses people off. The fact that a DDoS attack is being used for the false flaggery crap is, I find it like, it's almost like I would have expected more. I would have expected more than a DDoS attack. I would have expected something like Winston talked about SCADA attacks and stuff like that, and the SCADA infrastructure, things like that. I would have totally looked at that situation and said, yeah, that's more what I would expect them to do. But there seems to be this rash of DDoS attacks. And I'm telling you, when I look this stuff up, and this isn't from any of my hacker guys, because some of the information, but most of them, some of them have been really hard to get in touch with as of late, because I know they're really doing their own work. But because I've been able to interview them in the past and knowing what I know and them leading me down the right paths in the past, I'm telling you, it looks to me like they're actually using DDoS attacks, they being the powers that shouldn't be, are using DDoS attacks as their false flag attack of choice, which is beyond me why you would want to do it. But okay, you know what? Actually, it's not really beyond me. I know why. It's easy to blame things on like Anonymous, because one of Anonymous's favorite ways, and internet hacktivism, one of their favorite things is a DDoS attack. Again, to them, they understand it's nothing more than a virtual sit-in, right? And again, what websites are getting hit? Bank websites? Okay. Why would bank websites, though, get a hit? Chase Manhattan Bank. Well, who owns Chase Manhattan Bank? The powers that shouldn't be. The Rockefeller family. JP Morgan. Oh! Is it coincidental? Oh my God, we need to take away the internet or else there's going to be hack attacks on banks. And all of a sudden Chase gets a DDoS attack. Something smells, ladies and gentlemen. Do your research. False flag hack attacks are real. We're going to break. We'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And like I was saying last segment, I really do think that the DDoS attack, and this is my opinion, I haven't been able to talk to Winston or anybody in a few weeks, actually longer than that, about this stuff, because I get about 2 seconds once in a while with a message here or there, and I don't want to ask over a message because there's so much. That I could go on for 5-10 minutes. I can be long-winded. Yes, I know. You, Popeye, long-winded? Anyway, I haven't been able to chat with them about it. So this is purely my own, my own synopsis and analysis of the situation. But this is based on what I know, and I have researched this pretty extensively, I would say. So I would say that the DDoS attacks, especially like the one you saw against Chase the other day. That's, right after the NSA goes and says, hey, hackers are going to attack banks. They probably made a phone call to their little hackers and said, okay, go. Because they do that. They have people on a payroll that attack banks. And then they say, okay, stop it. And they slap their hand. They say, no, stop it. Go back and sit in the corner. And these hackers are, doesn't mean they're evil or whatever, but that's what they do for a living, right? So, and a lot of them probably have no idea what they're doing either. So it's all compartmentalized, ladies and gentlemen. That's how the CIA does things, the NSA, the military, the government. I could reiterate this 1,000 times. The point is, I think, my personal opinion, the DDoS attack, for reasons of simplicity and easily to blame, it's easier to blame Anonymous for something like that. And even you can still blame Chinese hackers or Iranian hackers and stuff for a quote-unquote DDoS attack. You could blame them for a SCADA attack too, but I just think DDoS is simpler to pull off. It just goes to show that the powers that shouldn't be probably don't have a lot of support from a majority of the hacker community, and they're only able to pull off certain things. There's a couple different ways to look at it. I think it's actually a mixture of a lot of different things. I don't think it's just an indicator of one thing in general, but they're. At the very least, they're using the DDoS attacks as the false flag attack of choice, which, you could debate that, in itself. Like I said, you can get into the idiosyncrasies of why they would do that itself. But that's what, to me, it looks like they're doing. So you need to stay on top of it. Go to federaljack.com and just look up false flag hack attacks in the search bar. Just type in false flag hack attacks, and a bunch of stuff will come up. I actually made a movie about this, and I put video in there and audio, and you'll hear Winston Smith talking about this stuff, like a year ago. This is not anything new. He warned of this, ladies and gentlemen. He said, hey, be on the ball, pay attention, because this is the kind of stuff that I foresee coming down the pike. And I after researching it, I've done other shows on this, and I agree with him, and then here we go. We have it happening. The head of the NSA walks in and says, if you don't give us these extraordinary powers, we need money, we need to build up the Pentagon, and we're going to have hack attacks on our banks, and that could be just dire to our economy. And then Chase Manhattan Bank gets attacked. I mean, come on. I mean, Chase Manhattan Bank, nobody finds that shady. Again, if you look up who, J.P. Morgan Chase, the Rockefellers are the ones that run it. Who was J.P. Morgan back in the day? The guy that owned the White Star Line. He helped with the Federal Reserve, just evil banker. World government lover, blah, 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 part of this Illuminati, secret societies, whatever the hell else he was into. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, do you not see this? You know what I'm saying? There's a connection. I'm not making this up and throwing out stuff that, oh, come on, Popeye, there's no connections. No, there is. It's right there in front of your face. The banks are the ones that control everything. Let me ask you this. Why during the L.A. shootouts, right? Or not shootouts, the L.A. shootout with multiple bank robberies, but why were the perpetrators of the L.A. shootout, what was his name, Neil Mediterranu and the other dude? I did a show about this. You can go look in my archives and listen to the broadcast. There's a lot of shady stuff in there. And even Holland Van Nieuwenhof, and I have talked about this on numerous occasions when he's been on. Why did those guys only hit Bank of America's? It's the only bank they robbed were Bank of America. Why? There's lots of banks all over the place. Why would you stick to one specific branch in particular? Well, then you look up who Bank of America is connected to, and it makes a little bit more sense. Then you look up where those guys got their weapons from for the shootout. The Michigan militia. Well, when you look up the Michigan militia and you start to research, that's run by the FBI. It's one of these, again, they wouldn't have had access to these weapons if the feds hadn't given them the access to the weapons. And, they modified their weapons, and it's fully auto, and oh, my God, and, terror, shooting at cops, and cops are outgunned. Now the cops need AR-15s and fully automatic assault rifles. They need machine guns. Before that, cops only had shotguns in their cars. I know it's getting off on a tangent, but it's a side thing. It's just interesting to look at. Why the hell did they only rob a Bank of America, right? Well, why did the hackers only hit J.P. Morgan Chase? Just saying, when they hit other banks, it's always these same banks that are controlled by the powers that shouldn't be. You never see mom and pop's credit union getting hacked, right? I mean, I'm sure it happens once in a while, but you don't see that on the news. You always see these big banks getting hacked. Danger, Will Robinson, danger, warning. We have to hoist the BS flag. Something smells. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. I've got the BS flag hoisted on that last article and story I talked about. Now we're moving on to what I've been talking about for the past hour and a half, the T-shirt giveaway. Dun, 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 dun. If you're listening, go to the chat room right now. Go. I'll give everybody a few minutes. Go to the chat room because we got a few minutes before the break comes up. So I want everybody to go over to the chat room. And I'm going to throw out a question really quick. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'll give you guys a minute or two, and then and I don't want anybody cheating. I want somebody to try to come up with the real answer to this, and the first two correct answers to this get the T-shirts. So here's the question. It's the same question that the Sphinx used to ask people. It was the famous question that the Sphinx asked, but before it ate somebody or not, and that is, I start off on 4 legs. I eventually graduate to 2. Further on down the road, I end up on 3. What am I? And I've kind of paraphrased the question a little bit. I've shortened it up, but I've tried to make it a little bit easier for everybody. And this was the famed Sphinx's question. So I start off on 4 legs, I go to 2, and I end up on 3. What am I? The first 2 correct answers. And it's only one, there's only one correct answer, but the first 2 people that put the correct answer in the chat room will each get a free T-shirt, 1 black and 1 OD green. So what I'll do is the first correct answer gets the OD green, the second correct answer gets the black T-shirt. So, well, bam, Tommy gets the first, Tommy, you get the OD shirt. He's already got it. Tommy K in the chat, well done. Anybody else? Come on. Anyone? All you have to do at this point is look at the chat for the second winner and just look at the chat room and see what Tommy wrote. and you get it. But Tommy was the first one to answer it correctly. Well done, brother. Well done. Let's see if anybody else gets it. Come on. Go to the chat, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that hard. What starts off on 4 legs goes to 2 and ends up on 3. There you go. MPO1 Juve, 1897. Baby becomes adult, then the old man on the crutch. So there you go. There's your 2 winners. And Crystal IN under, I guess, or Krista in Indiana or whatever, she wrote, or he wrote underneath, the answer is man. So since the 3 of them came in at the same time, I'll give away a 3rd shirt. So I'll give away 2 black ones and an OD green one. So Tommy and Crystal or Krista, and where's the other one? There's one more in the chat there. And MP01 Juve. That's the 3 of you are the federaljack.com T-shirt winners. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Well done. Bravo here. Everybody gets a golf clap. Well done. Well done. This is what you need to do now for the 3 winners. I just said who you guys were. What I need you to do is email me, contact DTRH@yahoo.com, contact DTRH@yahoo.com. In the title, put your chat name so I recognize it, and just put T-shirt winner, and that the 3 of you know who you are. Email me with a good mailing address, and I will mail you each a federaljack.com T-shirt. So that was awesome. It was cool that everybody kind of hopped in there really quick. And okay, it says it's Crystal N. Okay, Crystal, and you get a free. You're the 3rd winner of a black federaljack.com T-shirt. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Final segment. Man, 2 hours went right by. Glad I had a chance to go over a few things today and rip on a few things and rant and rave after having the past 5-6 days being as rough as they have been. It was nice to get back on air and get my head back in the game. It's not easy, ladies and gentlemen, but we got to carry on no matter what, right? I want to thank everybody that took part in the T-shirt giveaway. I think it was awesome, just absolutely awesome. I'm glad that we kind of got this chance to have a dry run at this. And remember, this Wednesday, part of the reason I'm doing this, I want to give away free T-shirts and stuff to people when I can once in a while. I think it's fun. But part of the reason I'm doing this is to get everybody ready, because Wednesday, Sherry Feaster is coming back on. She, for those of you that don't know, Sherry is a forensic investigator, and she's she's testified in court before. Her testimony has put people away and freed them, and it's never been refuted before, because people have tried, but they haven't been successful, because her work is she does things the proper way. I guess you could say impeccable. I'm trying to think of a good word to describe it. Anyway, she's coming back on. I had her on for 2 hours already once before, and she's coming back on. And on Wednesday, we're giving away free copies of her book. Now, we're not giving away a ton of free copies because she can't afford that, but we're going to give away a couple free copies, and we're going to do the same thing like we did today in the chat room. And we're going to do it in the second hour. And that's why I kind of did this dry run today with the T-shirts. And when we come on air, we'll give you a few more details about, we'll do the same thing. We'll ask a question, only it'll be topic oriented, towards the JFK assassination. And we'll ask a question, and the first 2 people that get maybe first 2-3 people that get it right, depending on, how many people show up in the chat or whatever. We'll say first couple people that get the answer correctly, we will get your information just like I did now. Email me, and Sherry will send out a free copy of her book to you. And I'm going to continue to do this, ladies and gentlemen. I've been talking to more guests and stuff about this, and other authors and other people about doing giveaways and stuff, and giving away their books. I'm going to do more federaljack.com giveaways. I'm going to do more oriontalkradio.com, like bumper sticker giveaways, because we're working on getting some bumper stickers done for Orion Talk Radio. So we're taking it to the next level. So just stay tuned. You guys have been tuned in for 2 years and been faithful listeners. And I really appreciate everybody tuning in and, riding this wave of craziness with me. So because you guys have been there for 2 years, we don't have a lot of money, but when we can, we like to try to do giveaways and do things like that to try to give some stuff back to the listeners. It's our way of saying thank you and getting, being more interactive with everybody. So, again, Wednesday, tune in. Sherry Feaster is going to be back on, and we're going to be going over the JFK assassination, the forensics of it, again, focusing on Dealey Plaza, the crime scene. And I got a few things that I want to discuss and cover about that, as I was talking about earlier in hour one. So during that discussion, we're going to be giving away a couple copies of her book again, so make sure you tune in. Okay. That being said, the other thing I want to plug before I forget is Joe Joseph's show today. Joe is taking the Pope to the woodshed, and he's actually going to use the Bible to do it. They always run around quoting scripture and the Bible and God this and God told the Pope is, he's directly in touch with God and blah, 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 blah. Well, Joe's going to take the Pope and the Catholic Church to the woodshed with the Bible, amazingly. He's just going to go and he's going to prove how they're full of crap, and he's going to cover other historical avenues of approach towards this whole mess. But I think this is something really interesting, by the way, and I didn't get a chance to talk about this with Steve Stars. I was going to try to have Steve on Friday, but, I put a rebroad on because of my baby and, her being sick. But I wanted to have Steve on to talk about the fact that the new Pope is a Jesuit. First time. Because don't think, ladies and gentlemen, that as soon as that happened, that my message box on Skype from Steve wasn't going crazy. You all know Steve Stars comes on, and we always, anytime I've done deep shows about the Vatican or the Pope or anything like that, Steve always comes on. He's always one of the first people I have on because he knows a lot about it, and I'm able to get the proper information across to people, with him about this subject in particular. And he was blowing up my Skype that day, telling me, "Oh my God, can you believe this? Blah blah blah. The first Jesuit. It's right in our faces." And he's right. Steve's 100% right. I mean, it's right in our faces. And then Joe and I had a conversation about this, and him and his wife Angie were very much on the same page with the whole the black Pope. Not actually being a physical black-skinned Pope, but the Jesuit black Pope, and then you have the first time a Jesuit is in charge as Pope. And then when you look at how that whole thing went down, the guy that was actually the front runner for the position of Pope, he ended up suddenly, like the day before, this is during the conclave, but the day before they had voted, the police in Italy raided it, in whatever city it was in, had raided his archdiocese, and suddenly, that may frown upon his chances as being the Pope. This guy was the front runner, and all of a sudden, bam, his archdiocese gets raided. And then, how many times did they vote? They voted what, twice, I think. Right? They put up the white. They put up the black smoke, which means no Pope, right? And white smoke means Pope, I think. And they put up the black smoke first time, and then the second time they put out the smoke. Hey, we got the Pope. But don't they normally vote like 100 times? Yeah, I'm being a little, facetious when I say that. But they normally vote like 4 or 5 times, right? The last time when they did Ratzinger, the Sith Lord, it took them forever to pick the Sith Lord. It took them at least a week. Or maybe it was even longer. It was like a while it took them to pick the Sith Lord the last time. Maybe it might have even been a couple days less than 7 days, but it seemed like it took a lot longer. These guys voted twice, and all of a sudden, bam, the Jesuits in. I know people are going to say, I went to Jesuit school, Popeye, and I'm not part of the New World Order. Yeah, well, not everybody that works for the CIA or the FBI is evil and in on it too. So compartmentalization. This is not a coincidence that this guy is a Jesuit. I could tell you that, and I just don't have enough time to go into it today. But I'm going to have Steve on. I'll see if you can come on Friday and go over this. I'd really like to have him on. And tomorrow I'm going to play one of my interviews. Either Doug Rocky, or I actually just have a new Judith Baker interview which I want to get on air. We talked about David Ferry. I have so many interviews, that I still have in the can that I have to that I've done off air that I have to air for everybody. I just haven't had a chance. And then, having a bad week, we'll say, and, getting bad news as I did this week, I just had to take some time off and focus on that. So, I hate being behind the 8 ball, but I'm trying to catch up. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night because I'm going to have, as I said, I'm going to put on either my Doug Rocky interview, my latest one I did with him about DU and the health effects and stuff, or I'll air my latest one with Judith Vary Baker. And we got in heavily we focused on David Ferry and his death and who he was and stuff, because there's, a lot of stuff coming out about David now, and there's misinformation out there, and there is stuff that people do not know about David and about the things that went on behind the scenes and stuff. And Judith and I actually had a really good in-depth interview about it. So, like I said, I just haven't gotten a chance to air any of this stuff. It's like life keeps, I don't want to say karma, but we'll say life in the, whatever you want to call it, fate. I don't believe in that crap though. Whatever, the universe keeps throwing large roadblocks in my path, but you all know how I am. I just go right through them. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. But this coming week, it's going to be a good week on the broadcast. Again, Wednesday, we're going to have the giveaway with Sherry Feaster, and I'm going to try to get Steve on Friday because I really want to go over this Pope thing. I mean, I can't focus on this enough. I know Joe's going to get into it the next 2 hours, so make sure you stay tuned in for that. But, I mean, this is not a coincidence that this whole thing went down the way it did, and I want to pick Steve's brain on that because it's just the whole situation is shady how that whole thing went down. The whole thing. The guy's archdiocese getting raided, and then, suddenly, all of a sudden, this guy, comes out of nowhere, and he's the new pope. And they didn't vote more than, 2, maybe 3 times at the most. I think it was only 2, but I could be wrong. Maybe they voted 3 at the most, but they really didn't. There's a lot of shady stuff. And then them trying to scare the crap out of everybody with the whole Peter the Roman thing, and then getting them to focus on the black skin guy from Africa as being the first quote-unquote black pope. You know how these people are with their word magic and everything else, and maybe they were getting everybody to focus on that, and they were getting this ready in the background. That's probably what they were doing. I mean, they do things, very, I think sneakily is the wrong way to pronounce the term, but whatever. I make my own words up sometimes. So we'll just say the way they do it is very sneaky. There you go. The proper use of the word for all the grammar Nazis out there that are going to email me, even though I do say that proper grammar and saying things properly is needed, and that's part of the problem, which it is. But it is what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the hour is upon us. We must depart for the day.
This is Sparta!
It has been a pleasure, as always, to be back live with you all, and I will be back on live tomorrow night, Monday night, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until midnight. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, have no fear. I love you all. The solutions to our problems are an inside job. I'm out of here.